Okay guys, so I thought I'd try something a little different as well. I thought I would show you my process of how I tune my shocks for my RC crawlers. So this little first section right here is really just showing you how I prep my station to do shock tuning, and I will switch it up in a second to show you the actual process. But as you can see on the mat, I already have the car itself on the stand. The wheels already removed, you don't need to see all that. Cleaned off, everything's good to go. I do need to de-oil the original shocks that I have in there. Now, why there are so many different sets of shocks on my table is that I have a total of, let's see how many different sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sets of the Yacht Racing Desert Lizard internal sprung shocks. I have them for 90 millimeters on this one, 90 millimeters on the Jeep Wrangler, 100 millimeters on the Honcho, 110 on the Rift, and 120 on the Rift. So the Rift runs 2. So that's why there's a lot of different lengths for me to choose from. We got the very short, stubby. They can do soft, medium, hard. We have the medium, I guess the medium length, and then in the medium length there's 4 different sizes as well. So there's going to be of course the soft, the medium, and the hard, but there's going to be actual maybe 2-3 millimeter differences on some of these springs, and that's only because the shock lengths. So I have a lot I get to choose from. That's just give you an idea. So the process is because I have so many different shocks to choose from, and they're all kind of just squeezed together inside my boxes. The number one thing is to get them all separated, medium, soft, hard, the lengths of them, try to get them as close as possible. There may be 1 or 2 that's off right now, but I will see that afterwards. But this is just the prep work that I do to tune my shocks. I love tuning shocks. God, sorry, my phone's blowing up like crazy right now. Sorry about that. Don't get me wrong, I love tuning shocks, but me as a person, I don't like getting my hands oily or dirty. I don't know why. It's a weird little, I don't know, little freaking pet peeve I have. I don't mind getting them dirty, but I just don't like getting them dirty repetitively. So what that means is I like to take the time to truly tune my shocks and run them and just kind of get it over with. I don't like running it, redoing it, running it, taking it apart, redoing it, running it, taking it apart, redoing it. To me, that's tedious. I guess some people like that process, but that's tedious and inefficient. I'd rather take the initial time, do all the prep work, know exactly what I want and what I'm looking for each of these shock systems, and then set it up accordingly. These are the original setups. There is currently 45 weight in them. They're run long spring, medium, I guess the medium stiffness is what they're currently in, but as you can see, they fully extend, so the car is always at a fully extended position. So what I am going to do is I'm going to run it droop, so the car is going to rest lower down to maybe like this, okay, but it's still going to be able to extend back out. Right? So that's the goal of it today, and I'll show you my process in doing that after I drain these two sets of shocks out, and then I'll show you how I go through my spring testing process. Okay, so in this process right here, I want to show you what it's like how I do my spring selection. Because I have so many different springs, it takes me about an hour to kind of sort everything out. Excuse me, I'm smoking a little too much recently. But as you can see, all of my springs are sorted out. Long springs, medium springs, mid springs, short springs. And the original springs are right here. So this is the long spring that I use. It's about this size right here, as you can tell. It's the medium stiffness, and it was on all 4. And this is the standard little spring, that soft spring that they have on this side of this little piston here. So right now what we're doing is we're going to be putting a spring here and a spring on top. So we're going to be having basically a spring on the side. So you have to kind of know, number one, the weight of your vehicle. This vehicle is about 8 pounds, a little bit over 8 pounds. I know that the battery that I run is a Spectrum 5000. It's in the rear to kind of offset the front heaviness. So what I'm looking for is more of a medium, yes, this length right here, but I'm going to also be looking for medium stiffness. So I already know. I selected the springs that I want already. So this is the configuration I'm looking for. I'm going to be testing it in just a second here. And this test is also without oil. So I'm going to be running, this is the front, and this is the rear. So these are the same size. And this is going to be on this side of the piston in here. And then the longer side is going to be on the other side, which is inside this whole thing. The rears, sorry, I'm angled here. So the rears are just a little bit longer than what I want for the front. And the reason being is I want the rears, when they're extended, to be able to be pushed down and kind of planted to the ground. I'm hoping this should be enough for that weight of a car, but I'll test it in just a second. So I've only removed 2 of the little C-clips here, and I'll show you the process in doing this. So this is going to be for the rear. This right here. Sake of testing, I am not going to put that little C-clip on just yet. And the reason being is that thing's a bitch and a half to remove. So this one goes in here. And also there's going to be oil in there, so the viscosity, the kind of rebound is going to be a little slower than this, but you get a good idea of what you. A second here, let me just get this tightened up so I can get a feel of the tension. Okay. So already you can see it's already in a droop position. It's not fully extended like it was before. Oops, I popped that out already. Take a significant amount of weight to push that down. Okay. So that's going to work. Give me a second here. Let me fix that inside first. I'm now wondering if I want it longer on the top. Like that, push down is kind of where I wanted it to be. I'm thinking I want it just a bit longer. So this is the oil one that I chose. I feel like I want something longer, so this right here. all the way tight, but I try to get it at least down to the seal. And the reason being is this way I can get a better feel of the spring tension inside the shock. Inside this entire sheet. Put all that away in just a second. Anyways, I think this should be the right length I'm looking for. So it is going to go all the way. It's harder to droop it down. I think the other way is still the way to go. That longer spring, what it was doing, it was making it harder to push down. More resistance on the down angle, so I still need that shorter length there. Okay. Alright, so back to this one. And this should be it. I'm going to do one more test on the squeeze. Yeah. And usually I can do this for 2-3 hours, and that's what I did for the trail honcho to get the spring set up the way it was. Write down just a second here. Can't mess up all the springs on the table. Alright, this is the setup. Okay, so this is the rear. Same thing, you get the rears first put in there. Get the oils filled. Get this clip in there. Brown. Still covered in oil. It's slick. Still has the spring in there, and I'm going to add the oil in there, and I'm going to do that for both the rears. And I got the slightly shorter spring that goes inside for the fronts. I'm going to test that out. Okay, so I think that's going to work. I'm going to get everything oiled up right now, and we'll go out for a test run. You don't need to see me do all that. Alright guys, so here I'm in the yard now. You can see the Droop setup in there. Okay, so these shocks definitely. I have also the shock move back just one space compared to straight up. The fronts are going to move back in the spot. The rears were already in the front, so far the ride out here seemed okay. Let's test it on the course now with the Droop setup. Okay, so the fronts extend like I would like them to. Okay, good. So far, so good. Alright, so all the easy stuff so far. It's looking good. The rebound I'm okay with so far as well. So far, and this is one of the tests I want to see, is going up these steps. Let's get it closer. Okay, so far so good. Muddy sliding off that side and squeaking. It's the mud. There we go. Well, it's definitely rubbing the belly now, going over that, that's for sure. Okay, those rivers are supporting it quite nicely. Let's take a closer look. The fronts are being pushed down quite nicely. Okay, and okay, still goes over the logs quite nicely. Okay, so one other thing I want to test is this rock climb over here. Okay, I'm actually quite happy with it. So now the Bronco has a droop setup on its shocks. Let me know what you think.